The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbb-radio.com.
Hey, welcome to Tee It Up with Phil and Cindy. Cindy, we're on location again.
Again. I love it.
It's Christmas time. We're here at the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center with Jennifer Pauly.
Yeah.
Hi, Jennifer.
Glad to have you back again.
Yeah.
Second time around is going to be 20 times better,
Yes.
right?
A little technical
Yes.
difficulty the
That's
first time
okay.
we were here. But we are here again, and we're going to hear about this wonderful facility and
Yes.
what's going on here.
And very
renovations
historic.
and very
Yes.
historic. And we just want to say hi, Jennifer.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yes,
I'm glad
thanks
that
for having
you're
us.
Here. Thank you for my Tee It Up mug. I can't wait to use this.
Put some hot chocolate in there,
I
Jennifer.
forgot my coffee today, so this is going to help me remember that I forgot my coffee. But it's going to go right on my desk. Thank you so much for having it. And we're here inside the Legacy Theater, which is about to undergo a great renovation in 2026. We're set up for an opera event that we have this weekend. We're reserving some seats out there in the theater, but we are so excited about phase 2 of our theater renovation plan for this 100-year-old building, and lots of good changes coming up in 2026.
Can you tell us, Jen, for people who don't know what the NACC is, what it was, where it's located?
Yeah, definitely.
And just a little bit of the history behind it.
So this is the former Niagara Falls High School. It's a 100-year-old building. 100 years ago, the building was a high school before that and burned down. So this is coming from 100 years. We've served Niagara Falls for 25 years as a nonprofit. So the grassroots organization Save Our Sites decided to save this building when Niagara Falls High School went a couple miles down the street. The building was slated for demolition, and they said, no, we're going to keep it. So the organization started as Save Our Sites and turned into the nonprofit that you know now, the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, which runs the building. So the mission is to preserve this building, but also provide a space for the community to come to experience art and cultural exhibits and have this place be a place of magic. We have about 85 tenants. When I say magic, that create magic here. They have everything from music studios to art studios to photography to live theater to ballet. They are all housed here. So this building is saved for the building itself to be full of artists. We have rehearsal space, we have performing space, we have an alumni center, we have a little bit of everything. And the nonprofit, the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, runs it all.
Well, it wasn't, I know when it was happening and they were closing LaSalle and Trot had already been closed. There were 3 high schools in Niagara Falls at one time.
Yeah, big population then.
And it was a bigger population. It was a tough decision to combine everything.
Yeah.
But it wasn't an easy process to get the building, and I know they worked so hard to the Preservation Society to get the building. And here we are today, sitting in here, and there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon. As you said, there's a lot of tenants, but what was the process to even acquire the building?
So I'm sure it was a long process. I mean, I've only been here a year, 1 year exactly last week, but I know that this building was saved from people who lived in the community that had a heart to preserve it. There's something special here. And out of that came this nonprofit organization that is a pinnacle in Niagara Falls. We are a landmark here as a building, but our organization creates so many opportunities for the community of Niagara Falls to experience culture and art right here in the city on Pine Avenue. So it's an important thing for us to continue to go, and we've been growing ever since, 25 years of growth, and this new development that we've had is this great opportunity to redo this Legacy Theater. And it actually started last year with redoing our historic restrooms. 3 floors of restrooms were completely renovated, as well as the outside where our front door, I say our front door, it's a side door, the red door, that is the entrance into the Portage Road entrance. It's the main entrance into the NACC.
Can't miss that red door.
You can't, but that whole area was redone last year as well. In October of 2024, we started to level that area out so it was more accessible to people of all different abilities. And, that all was put into phase 1, and now we're going into phase 2, which includes a new fire safety system, smoke detectors in every room and every studio, and then the renovation of this historic theater. This theater is used by community groups for workshops, for dance, for theater, for music recitals, for opera, like we will have on Saturday. And it's really important that we preserve the history of this, but also make it more state-of-the-art and accessible to all different types of mediums here. Right now, as you can see, the seats are wooden. They're vintage is what I like to say. Our sound system is almost non-existent. Our lighting is very old. Our curtains need to be redone. The plaster repair work has to be done. It needs to be painted. We're going to put some carpeting in. So this whole renovation project, once it starts, which probably will start in March of 2026, it'll take about a full year of renovation until we're completely ready for, some really great performances in here.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah,
Cindy.
no, I was going to say, so when this is, it's beautiful now, so I can't even imagine when the renovations happen, but so the community will be able to utilize this for dances?
Yes.
Like the dance recitals, anyone who wants to come in and do theater and stuff like that, they'll be able to use it.
Yes, definitely.
And I can't even imagine when it's done what this is going to look like.
Well, I know I got lucky enough to do a production here with Open Door Productions, and it was just a wonderful experience to be here. Because I really, even though I lived in Niagara Falls all those years, went to LaSalle, I never really came to Niagara Falls High School.
Mm-hmm.
The big rivalry. There was no reason for me to be here. But it was nice to do a show here, and I can't imagine once it is done what it's going to be like in that experience when it's all done. Tell us about, you said you started with the plumbing system. Everything is just antiquated, and you've had to really update everything.
Oh, yes. I think my first week that I started in December of 2024, they said, come take a look at these restrooms. And I had seen what they had looked like before, but that's when we really started to get in with the demolition. And I've been through that entire bathroom renovation, let me tell you, from start until finish. And I can tell you with a 100-year-old building, sometimes things that are on drafted plans that are passed down to you of the building, sometimes that is different than what actually happened with the plumbing and the wiring and the pipes inside the actual building. So that was my first real dive into realizing that, okay, this is how this is going to go. But we have some great partners with Flynn Battaglia, Buffalo Construction Consultants, Buffalo Engineering. They're helping us through this process. Buffalo Construction Consultants really works with us to manage the project and gives us all the updates on what's going to happen and helps keep us in line with the budget. They've been great to work with. In fact, we have a project supervisor here in this building. He has an office right next to mine, so anytime I have a question, he's able to give me the answers to it. But that was a really big thing, redoing our 3 floors of historic restrooms. If you've been in them before, you'll know that 3/4 of them did not work. They were very historic facilities. So we'll just say the toilets were probably 3 inches from the ground when you're thinking of an old historic restroom. And we had 3 floors of them. So now we have 36 working toilets, 18 working sinks, 3 floors that are completely, renovated, beautiful tile work, beautiful woodwork. The equipment is top of the line. It really is a nice experience when you go in to use the restroom. We have a janitor's closet in each one, so it's easier for our custodial staff to take care of cleaning our facility. And, you know, when we finished the first and second floor, we had to wait for the third floor because when you start putting in new toilets and new sinks, you realize that we need a new water pressure system to be able to accommodate more toilets, working toilets and sinks than we have ever had in the NACC existence. So it's been a huge process, and I can say in October of 2025 that just a couple months ago, we finally finished all 3 floors with the water pressure system in there. All 3 floors are working great. We do have 1 sink that's under warranty that needs to be redone, but those are just small
And
things.
That's a big deal to have functioning bathrooms
It
because
is.
of all the tenants you have. Not
Yeah.
only that, when you renovate this, I can imagine there's going to be, you know, a ton of people coming in and
Yes.
out, and that's really a plus. I just wanted to ask, there's so much nostalgic here. What will they do with, like, for example, the seating here? I mean, the theater seats have to be, I would think, historic, or even like when you went here, I'm sure there's still lockers, right? Like, is there any, in other things like the gym, and I'm sure there's like schedules and posters and everything, will any of that be for sale for people?
So right now we do actually have a locker plaque program where you can purchase a plaque that'll go on a locker for $100. It's been a great way to honor people, honor alumni, purchase one as a legacy for a family, purchase one in memory of somebody. And you'll be surprised. We have people from the class of 1960 that remember exactly where their locker was, and they want their plaque on locker 113.
Wow.
And so we do that. We make sure that that happens. We have 3 floors of lockers, right? So if you want a plaque with your name on it and the year you graduated, or maybe just a family name because you had family members that came here, you can do that for $100, and we'll put that on the locker for you. The other aspect we have with our new seating is I still need to raise a little bit of money for new seating. We have a sample of a new chair in my office. It's beautiful. I'd like to get rid of these historic vintage wooden seats, and that's the plan right now, is to put new seats in. So we have an opportunity for you to buy a $500 plaque on our new seat with your name on it. $500. For you, Phil, it's $1,000, but $500.
Everyone else, it's 500.
A plaque
Thank you,
will
Jen.
go on the
That
back.
is so cool.
But then you can also make a donation to take, once we're ready to rip these seats out, to take a seat out. So Rich Moranto's name, I'm sure, is engraved on one of these seats. We're going to find it, and he
Are
can
you gonna
take
get
that
one, Rich?
home
You
for
gotta get
$100.
one. Rich is definitely. So those will be available for $100?
They will. They will. And we actually do have, I had taken a photo of them a couple months ago just to, give some insight into our phase 2 renovation. And we had people commenting that my name is on one of those, or I remember what one I sat in all the time for assemblies, and I want one of those.
So those are those the original?
You're asking me, and I don't know if they are the original. I think that they may have been replaced sometime in the 40s, possibly 50s.
But they're still really, really old.
But they're still old, yes. They're still old. They
So
have
that is
sat
so cool.
thousands and thousands and thousands of students over the decades.
So how do they, I think this is so cool. I might have to get a plaque for a locker because my father went here. But how do people go about doing something like that, like purchasing a seat or getting a plaque on a locker?
Sure. Right now, the locker plaque program is on our website, thenacc.org. The Take a Seat information will be up there shortly. We just started this campaign. We've already sold 4 plaques for the new theater on the back of the seats. And then this information of actually buying one of our vintage seats, that will go out sometime early 2026 once we have a timeline of when we're ripping these seats out, right? I don't want to promise you a seat right now and not be able to rip it out if plans change. So that will be coming soon, but we definitely have the interest in people wanting a row of these seats, right? Imagine having 3 or 4 of these, just
So
like the
cool.
old odd seats or the Ralph Wilson seats,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Just sort of like what they did with the odd.
Yes,
And
yeah.
people have them, the oranges or the blues or the golds at their house. They have 1 or 2
And
seats.
now you can have a NACC seat.
And now you can have a NACC seat.
Jennifer, now if people I've been in here a couple times, but if you are from Niagara Falls or Erie County, Niagara County, wherever you're from, and you want to come and check this out, and maybe you want to get a tour, and I know you said there's a bunch of tenants in here that do have like art studios. So everything is geared toward the arts and music, theater. Is there a place where they can view the art? Can they hear the music? Can they come? Can they get a tour here? And how do they go about doing that? And one other thing to that, when I walked in, is there a little restaurant?
There
in here
is.
too? Could you talk about that too?
Yes, definitely. So first of all, we are open to the public Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5. So anybody can stop in, sign at the front desk, and take a walk by themselves throughout the
wow.
building, stop in one of the galleries, stop in the cafe downstairs. That is open to the public, and a lot of times our tenants are here during that time. If their door is open, they want you to stop in. But we also have classes that happen for the general public during that time and sometimes in the evening. So we do have 85 tenants here, and they have access to this building 24/7. So a lot of times they are here on the weekends or in the evenings having their own programming and workshops in which they are responsible for manning the door to let their people come in for those types of workshops. So there's pretty much something going on all the time. Most of the information can be found on our website. But the gallery downstairs is definitely one that you would want to stop in. If you came in during our open hours, stop through. There's a members and friends show downstairs right now that's featuring artwork from amateur artists all the way to professional artists from our community. And the second floor has a Kudella gallery. It's our garden gallery. There's no artwork in there right now, but there's shows that go in and out. You can stop in the office and we'd be happy to show you this theater. If nobody's in it, I'd unlock the door and show it to you. You can also schedule a tour through the office as well. There is the Starry Night Cafe that operates independently from the NACC, and they're open Tuesday through Friday right now. He opens generally around 9 o'clock in the morning until 2. But stop in anytime. You're going to find a surprise here, and the office staff will definitely help you make your way. Sometimes it gets a little confusing. The building is 3.5, 4 floors, right?
It's huge.
3 full floors and then a couple entrances to the 4th floor. But we'd be happy to schedule a tour. We've done that a lot for a lot of reunions, especially in the summer.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, we have an active alumni center up on the 3rd floor, an active alumni group that is so proud that they're so proud of being alumni of this building, and they are such great volunteers for us. They will take as many people as they can on tours as long as they're scheduled ahead of time, and they are great ambassadors for us.
Now, the alumni group, do they also have like yearbooks that people
They
can
do.
look through and stuff like that? Because I imagine, like, if you're older, you might not have the yearbook.
So they're working on making the alumni room accessible when we're open 10 to 5,
Yeah.
Tuesday through Saturday. It's not right now, but they are slowly getting all of the yearbooks cataloged, photographs from past classes, memorabilia. Right now, we're planning a renovation, so we're going to redo the painting in that room and putting in new floors so it can be open to the general public for you to come in and browse and look
That's
to
so
see
cool.
your dad's photos in the
Yeah,
yearbooks,
right.
right? So such a great opportunity for alumni to come back, just to come and see some of the old, trophies and
And a lot of people
memorabilia.
probably don't realize that they can do that,
Right.
or that's available. Now, you talked about the art shows in the 2 galleries. If somebody, when shows come up, is that on your website?
It is. It's on the website, but we also have an insider track. So if you want information on upcoming events, workshops, programming, gallery shows, you can become a member at the NACC for only $25. And that gets you on our e-list. We send out emails about definitely once a month. Sometimes you get extra emails from me on extra things happening. But our members get updated information. There's a member meeting at the end of the year. There's different discounts and perks. They can enter in their artwork into our Members and Friends show with no hanging fees, so no cost to them. There's discounts for programs that we put on. It's a really great way to really get the inside scoop of what's
only
happening.
$25?
$25 for the calendar year.
That's
So
a great deal.
you mentioned, I know you mentioned the Starry Night Cafe. This isn't the only theater in the building either.
Right, there's a Woodbox
the
Theater up
Woodbox.
on the 3rd floor, which is a
And-
former library.
Tell us about a few of the other tenants. I know you have from music to arts to teaching to
So
whatever.
this past weekend, the Greater Niagara Ballet Company did their production of Nutcracker. We cannot wait to have them back here in the Legacy Theater to do that production here. They did that at Niagara Falls High School, but they have a studio down on the bottom floor. They actually rehearsed through our rehearsal program here on the stage for that production.
wow.
We also have Teal's Community Theater. She teaches students from all different ages. They learn music, they learn singing, a little bit of theater work. We have the Western Door Playhouse, which is our longest tenant in the building, and they really have a residency up on the 3rd floor in that Woodbox Theater. Open Doors Productions is another theater group that's here. We have Gary Wolf, who is a well-known artist. So many different artists here, everything from crafters to small businesses. Buffalo Gals Jewelry is right outside of my door. She has 2
wow.
studio rooms here. She just finished doing a few different shows, vendor shows. So you name it, we have vendors here, we have artists here from all over that are all different types of mediums.
How do you see this fitting into the community and the surrounding you? Because as we know, Pine Avenue has had its issues over the last few years, and we've seen other things not happening. But do you see this as maybe the catalyst to bring back, especially this little corner?
It's like a
well,
bright
this large
star.
corner,
Yeah.
and it is
Really.
it is
Yeah.
like the bright star.
It is.
We are.
and you're
shining
right here
star.
with the
Yeah.
hospital. Do you do things with them or any other community partners out there?
We are an anchor here, right? We have the hospital right next door, and we have us. We take up an entire city block. I don't think people realize that our building goes from Pine Avenue to Walnut, from Portage to 13th. We are an entire campus on a city block with a very small staff, I should mention, that maintains this. We do our best to make sure that people realize that we are here, we're open, we maintain our grounds here, we maintain the building. And that's really important because we are a bright star here. We are a cultural and community center that people can come in to do and take different workshops and community events. And it's important that we are here. It's important that we partner with other landmark institutions in Niagara Falls. The nice thing is on Thursday, we'll be hosting the Niagara Falls National Heritage Area and the Niagara Falls Underground Railroad Museum staff. They're going to have a nice luncheon here downstairs in our gallery to celebrate the holidays. But we partner with whoever we can because that's how you are going to survive as an organization and as a business in Niagara Falls. If we weren't here, this area of Niagara Falls would definitely lack the cultural and the art exposure that we provide. So it's important that we're here for the long run.
And it is always a challenge to find funds. So where have you looked, and in the past and now present and future, to acquire money to do these renovations
Sure.
that are absolutely necessary in a 100-year-old building? So I know you've gotten government and community and things like that. Where have you looked, and where are you looking to get funds?
Thankfully, the past 25 years, we've had many different types of leadership, board members, you name it, who have worked very hard to get us some grants to do a little bit of everything from general operating grants, just so we can function, through capital improvement grants, which is happening with our theater renovation project. We do receive grants through Empire State Development, through NIPA to finish our renovation. We haven't received that money, so a lot of people think, oh my gosh, you received $8.5 million in grants. Well, yes, some of that we've received already to get the work done. Other of that, we have to spend the money in order to get the money back. So this second phase of our renovation is a huge learning process because we're a small arts organization. We're going to have to take out a bridge loan in order to get this work done, in order to get some of that grant money, back into our pocket. So it's a huge undertaking when you're thinking of just go off and get a grant. Well, you have to do the work of the grant. You have to keep all the research and the data separate with the grant, and you also have to have the funds to be able to maintain that grant, right? So we're very thankful to our board members and past staff members, past leadership, who've worked really hard to establish relationships with some of our funders who have supported us. NISCA, New York State Council of the Arts, is a huge supporter of the NACC. We just received funds for 2026 for general operating, and also to put on our rehearsal space program where you can rent this theater up until March. For $5 an hour, you can rent our dance room, you can rent our gym, you can rent our gallery. There's different rehearsal spaces that we have you can rent through the NACC that is subsidized through one of our grant providers. So we're always on the lookout for grants. We just hired a new development manager, Casey Carbone. She's well familiar with the NACC. She's been a performer here in different mediums. She just started a week ago, getting her really into all of this process. I think her head is...
into the fire?
I did. I think her head is spinning a little bit, but she will help us, develop those relationships. So looking forward to that.
When I first walked in, there is a greeter that sits at the desk, and I was talking to him, and he said he's on a work program.
He is.
Can you talk about some of the student work programs you have here?
Yes, we partner with several different entities for work programs here. Our work partners come from all ages. We do have some that are adults, working adults. We also have some that are in high school still. So a little bit of all ages, and then we partner with these organizations to provide some training to these work partners. So we provide them with some basic skills that you just experienced, some customer service skills, some light maintenance skills. We try to instill what it's like to be a professional organization, so they're learning soft skills and some hard skills so that they can go on and apply them to other parts of their life. This is a great program, and we are so fortunate to have partners to be able to, to work with them to, one, provide an opportunity.
100%.
Two, give them a sense of pride in the work that they're doing, and letting them be a part of this, the history of this building, and knowing that this is a community and cultural center that, is here, and maybe a high school student wouldn't normally take a job here, right?
And maybe some of their parents even went here.
They could have, right?
Yeah.
But through these programs, we're able to offer this experience that they may not have had elsewhere.
Will they be also involved with the renovations too as well?
So renovations are handled, thankfully, through our partners with Buffalo Construction Consultants and Buffalo Engineering. We have the professionals coming in to do the renovation. They spearhead some subcontractors, so it's any given time we've had about 40 subcontractors, workers in here at any given time through all of the renovation processes to do work here. So that process is being managed professionally, and we're so glad that it is, because there's so many moving parts into that whole renovation process.
What other partnerships do you have? I mean, and I think Cindy was trying to allude to, like with the schools. What else do you do with them?
So we'll be hosting Niagara Falls Building and Trades program here. They are finishing up some work here. Most likely they'll be here after the holiday break. They will be here through June to do some hands-on learning. And so that's a really exciting partnership that we have. We're not quite ready to roll out all the press release on it, so we're going to say you're one of the first. Yeah. But once we get that program up and running, give us a couple weeks, and there's going to be some really great press on that. How amazing is it to bring students back here in the building after 25 years, right? To get some hands-on experience inside the Niagara Arts and Cultural Center, painting, repairing plaster, understanding some of the work that needs to be done that they're learning how to do and applying it to a real organization, a real building that has history.
Trades.
So, yeah,
very excited.
That has to be so cool for the kids to come in such a historic place.
Right.
Now, the tenants here, how do you, like if you're involved in the arts and theater and music and all that, how do you get a space here?
The coveted space. There's about 30 people on the waiting list right now. We're at 100% occupancy. That will turn over the beginning part of January 2026, because since I've been here for a year, I've made sure that our tenants understand that rent is due and it's due on time, right? And we are an organization that have bills to pay as well, our electric bill, our heat bill, our water bill. Right. You know, there's so many different things that are part of maintaining the entire building, not just the studio space, but the entire building. So getting our tenants to understand that we're all a part of this and we're all trying to make sure that we're here for the long run has been a great tool for me to use communication skills to keep everybody updated on what's going on. So our tenants are aware that, you know, rent has to be paid on time.
And
so
people want to get in here.
Yes,
so.
And if they can't pay it on time, there's a 30-person waiting list, right? And to get on the waiting list, you know, you may be on that waiting list for a bit before something pops up. It's the right time at the right space at the right rental rate. That's where the magic kind of happens to get you into a space here. But you do have to have an art medium. You can't just come in and say, I'm just gonna, you know, have my business out of here. Well, it has to be an art medium to be able to have a space here. So it has to
go through a process by you,
There
right?
is, yeah.
Okay.
And there's some credit checks and some things like that as well. Insurance has to be carried. You know, you have a lease because you are leasing a studio space. But how cool it is to have, you know, a space in here that have had students for 100 years, right,
so
into
cool.
this building. I know that some teachers, when they come back to look at spaces, they're like, can I just get into that room? I want to see if my name is still in the corner. You know, I can't just let you into any room, but right. we will get you on a waiting list to, you know, to get some space here.
They, just an example, what would an electric bill for such a large building?
It's ranged from $6,000 a month up to over $8,000 a month.
And I think that's just an incredible feat to manage all these people and all these things and the renovation on top of it. So we probably should have asked you this when we started. Tell us a little bit about your background. And you said you've been here a year.
Yeah.
Tell us where you came from to get to this point and what you think are the highlights of this first year that you've spent here.
Well, and this past year, it's felt like 5 minutes and 5 years all in one.
Because it seems, it doesn't seem.
I'm over here being overwhelmed and she's doing it all.
I know, it doesn't seem like you've been here, like you said, I've been here a year. I was like, wait a minute, I just worked with you down in Lewiston.
Yeah, so before this, I was the Chamber of Commerce president at the Upward Niagara Chamber for 15 years before, you know, coming here. And I knew it was time that I had done everything I needed to do in that position and did not know that this position had opened up until I think that 2 days before I turned in my resume and my letter of my letter, just to, you know, hopefully get an interview. And that was September of 2024. I turned my resume and a letter of intent in, I think the hour it was due. It was very last minute. Because I had worked very hard in Lewiston establishing relationships with the business community, with elected leaders, with the community at large, and it was a job I could do with my eyes closed. But I knew I didn't want to do it anymore, but I didn't know what else was out there. I interviewed for this position, made it through a few rounds of that interview process, and I will tell you the first time I stepped in for the second interview, it was held here, I knew. I walked in here, and I've been here many times before, but I walked in with a sense of ownership of thinking, I'm going to be in charge of this place. And I knew, and there was a magic in that hallway. There's a magic in this building. It's hard to explain unless you're in here daily, but there is. And I knew that this was going to be the next chapter of my life. Sometimes I question my life decisions over the past year, especially when I'm standing in front of, you know, renovations and budgets and things of that nature. But I feel like everything I've done professionally, I've worked in theater, I've worked in box office, I've worked in corporate before the job at the chamber. I think it's all led into my job here. I'm also a musician. I'm a violinist, so I understand how important it is for artists to have a space where they can work on their medium. It's very important. So I think that I've been able to balance my administrative side with my artistic side here and meld it, you know, all into one. I also have to admit that in 1980-something, I danced on this stage as part of the Janet Dunstan Dance Academy. I was a student there. Over here in the corner, I remember coming into the finale, Footloose. I remember dancing to Uptown Girl, Billy Joel, in my red costume, which I think my mom still has on the stage.
We can have you do a little bit before we leave.
I don't know if you'd want
We can have
that.
you come in through that door, maybe.
I have 2 left feet now. But I've been in here for different things. Before I took over this job, I've come to performances here. I've come to, to different things. But when you step in for the first time, realizing you're in charge of it, it feels a little bit different. I also have family members that attended school here. So it's very special to be able to work here knowing that relatives walk through these halls. So pretty amazing.
You know, one thing I was going to say, when you talked about the alumni, my mother came here, and I know we have some of her yearbooks going back in got to be the 1940s, or
Yeah.
And I'm going to try and dig those out and see if my brothers and sisters maybe want to be part of this.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
This thing here.
To look through all of that
And
information.
get a locker, in honor of my mom, because I know my father went to trot before he went in the service. But my mother was here, and we have those yearbooks.
So my one grandmother went to trot, but my other grandmother, who's passed, she went to high school here, and she was bused here and took a train, took a bus, took many different ways of travel to get here from the Tuscarora Nation.
Wow.
So much history is here in this building with students coming from all over Western New York, right? It's pretty amazing when you really think about it.
It is an amazing place. Cindy and I are just glad to be here with you, and but we want to see you kind of tap in for through that door. We want to see that.
Yeah, we would love to see that. I was going to ask, is there any, like, if somebody wants to come and volunteer, like, I could see people wanting to come and volunteer here because it's such a great space and a cool. It's just got a cool vibe here.
It
Phil.
does. So we have a lot of volunteer opportunities. I will tell you that the most fun opportunity to volunteer is at our Art of Beer event coming up March 6, 2026. So I already voluntold both of you right now. I'm voluntelling that you will all volunteer for that. Such a great opportunity.
Rich, are you in?
Pour some beer. You get we sell the tickets. You get a small sample size cup. And Buffalo Construction Consultants, our partner, is our sponsor this year. So when I'm going to tell you, when you get this cup, you're going to be like, "What the heck? I've paid $45 for this. It's a glass. It's small." By the end of the night, you're going to say, "Oh my gosh,
Uber.
I paid $45 for that. I better get an Uber home." You're right, because you don't realize how many samples out of that small ounce.
That is so cool. So it's like, is it beer places from all over Western New York?
Yes, and the entire 3 floors will be full of music and samples of beer, samples of food, and you buy the tickets and you just enjoy
Phil,
the
we have to
building.
volunteer for
We'll
that.
be here.
Put us on the list.
I will. I'm volunteering you. Well, you're going to tell. You already told me, but I volunteered you first. But
Wow.
yes, you are on it.
So
So,
that's one of the things that's coming up. What do you have? We know the opera this weekend. Is that right?
yeah. So our
And
schedule.
what
of
else is coming up
events-
before the big renovation
Yeah.
starts?
Our schedule is always on our website. So there's different things that happen here, whether we are producing it or our tenants are producing it. And we had some delay in this theater. We had thought we would be doing the work in the theater starting in January. That's being delayed until March, the work in the theater. That doesn't mean anything's not starting. We have to start with our fire safety system. So work will be starting in January outside of the theater prior to that. So we were just able to reopen up this theater for use. So we'll have more of our tenants scheduling things in here up until that time, up until March. But March 6th is our huge fundraiser, and we really appreciate any support we can get from people to purchase tickets for that event. I attended last year the beer event.
That's the big
The
beer
big
event.
one, I attended it last year. It was like my first main event, and I could not believe the amount of people in this building that really enjoyed coming. So look at our website for upcoming events and programming, but definitely take a look at the Art of Beer event and consider that being part of, your contribution back to the NACC, right? Buy a ticket and come drink some beer or listen to some music, look at the gallery. It's always a great thing.
And for $25, you could already be on the mailing list, the email list, so you can get all the events when the tenants host things or there's classes here. For $25, help out our community, right?
Yeah.
Get on that list so you know what's going on, because you're definitely going to want to be here, and you're going to want to be here for the beer event.
There are so many events here, and like I said, I've been lucky to be part of a couple of the things here up in the Woodbox Theater and even on this stage with Open Door Productions.
Phil
my
was
friends,
in Jesus Christ Superstar.
I did it in April, and I had just a wonderful time. That's a great group that I got to work with, and I really enjoy them. We are really happy that we got the time with you, Jen.
Yeah.
It went very quickly.
Yeah.
We want to wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year.
Yes.
We're here right before the big holiday season starts. It's a great place. It's a
Amazing
community
place.
catalyst, and we wish you all the best. We're going to come back for the big beer event.
Yes.
And I think Cindy and I will be back as you finish these renovations to kind of take a tour and see the theater when it's all done.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you back. And thank you so much for my mug.
Oh, yeah,
it's going to
of
go right
course.
on my
Tee it
desk.
up.
Love it.
Thank you for being on
Thank you so
Tee It
much,
Up with
Jennifer.
us.
This has been amazing.
What do we always say? Follow us.
Follow us, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever you got to do.
You know what? The
Smash
subscribe
that
is not a
follow,
big
yes.
deal. Just follow us,
Yes.
watch us. All the information that John has given you is online. We're going to have all the hashtags, all the things.
Yeah, and come on down.
And come on down
Check
and see it.
out.
Thank you. Happy holidays,
Thank
everybody.
you.
That's it for Tee It Up with Phil and Cindy here at the NACC. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.